So here's things, conversations. How's college different from high school? It takes our students quite some time, and about 2 or 3 weeks after they've started their freshman year, I'll go into class and I said, okay, you've been here long enough. What's different? When will the bells start to ring? The bells are done. There are no more bells unless you learn to think for yourself and set them for yourself. No more bells. In high school, students considered a child. And if you want to know, parents, the hardest thing for you to get used to is that starting at the age of 18 and definitely when they're leaving high school, your cute little boy or girl is no longer a child, they're an adult, and the society looks at them as adults. And it's time for you to start treating them as adult. And boy, is that hard. Whether your student has a disability or not, it's hard. Going to college. When students come to my program, they're college students, and even if you have guardianship, I cannot legally talk to you unless your student signs a FERPA form that says I may. And I have students that have said you can talk to my mom but not my dad, and I have to do that. Dad calls me and threatens to sue me. I'm like, I know you're paying the bill, but it's not. He didn't sign that I could. That's your issue, not mine. I have to go by what the rule and the law says. Family Education Rights to Privacy Act, FERPA. That's really hard for parents to get used to. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. Get in the back. And that's where your support now is coming from the back seat. You're not driving. And I know when we've been teaching our children, our students, how to drive, it is the most nerve-wracking thing to not feel like you're in control. And parents, I don't know how to tell you any more than you're going to want to throw up on this ride. Because you already are. It's a nerve-wracking ride, and I can't prepare you anymore unless you've started to prepare yourself and your student earlier in life. Because the more that you do that, the more confidence your student has and the more confidence you will have in your student. And it won't be such a bumpy ride, but you will throw up for a while. High school, it's mandatory, you have to go, but college is voluntary. It's a privilege. You have to earn the right to stay there. It's expensive, college is. High school's usually free. High school, other people make your schedule, and in college, you have to learn how to make your own schedule / adult life. It's time for you, if you want to have the quality of life, young adult, if you want to have the quality of life that you can feel like you're doing things that are meaningful to you, which isn't that what we all want? For ourselves, they have every right also. You have to learn how to handle all of this. High school, other people tell you when to go to classes. College, you have to manage your own time. The bells, oh, those bells. No more bells. You have to start to think for yourself. High school. You can count on parents and teachers to remind you when homework. And boy, is this one a struggle. Because we will not. We teach them what a syllabus is. We teach them how to use their planners, how to use their tools. We work with them. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight, but that is our motto, is to work ourselves out of a job. And I tell parents when they come and they're interested in the CCS program, and I said, this is a program that is preparing your student for the day you die. Because as parents, aren't we concerned that what's going to happen to my student if something happens to me? It's scary. I have 3 sons, 4 granddaughters. It's scary. But that's how the approach we take. How much can we move them forward? How much can we put into their laps, into their ownership, that will help them be able to have the coping skills in place For the day, they may have to do this more on their own without you. Each day you go from one class to the next in college. You know what a college schedule's like. You might even have a day you don't have any classes. They're bounced all over the place. Way more time spent on doing assignments, and it's more than just the assignments. It's the outside of classwork that is also a big part of it. Some classes may be large, though the majority of the classes our students have are small, but there are some that get into larger classes. Reading, assignments, discussing, taught in class. In college classes, a lot is done on what you have to do. We know how we have those 5 weeks. Here's where I want to talk about what happens during those 5 weeks, or when you have all summer off, if you are in a college program. Our skills regress so quickly. We've worked hard all year to build skills, and we see some amazing skill development, and then summer hits, and we go all summer, and that's where it comes back to parents keeping your student busy during the summer so they continue to practice those skills. In high school, you're usually told when your behaviors are out of line and there's a discipline, and in college, you're expected to have the behaviors in place. If you don't, we're talking about consequences, not somebody that's going to come along and discipline you. The consequences, because that is adult life. Adult life is, if we know that we've done something we shouldn't and we get caught, there's going to be consequences, and we know that. You know, it's so true. So many students, especially when they're coming to college, yes. And I'm not talking about students just with disabilities, all college. Yes, I can't wait to get out of house. I am going to party like there's no tomorrow because there's no more rules. I only want to get to where I don't have to be at home and there's no more rules. And then it is such a terrible, terrible disappointment to have to go through the learning curve to realize as adults we have way more rules. Sometimes we would love to go back to where we don't have so many rules and consequences. And boy, our students just really struggle sometimes with that. Teachers. This is actually, I was thinking we would have more students here, so I kind of went this route. But these are conversations. You have the PowerPoints. Have these conversations with your student. You're wanting to go on to college. Here's how it's different. Here's how the school teachers are different. How the college professors, and because I can't wait to get on to the next thing, I'm not going to read all of these like I was. You have them in your handouts. But here's the differences, the difference between tests and exams, how grading occurs. Grades in high school, grades in college. In high school, some students who have difficulties with learning have an IEP. In college, parents, there are no IEPs. And I think that is another thing that is very, very difficult. Because in high school, you have a law that gives you your IEP, which is IDEA, Individuals Disability Education Act. And it is the Cadillac. You get so many accommodations. Sometimes you might have to advocate for them. But there is so much built into IDEA. But then when you leave high school, I always say IDEA is like you have a life jacket and you're floating your student along with all the accommodations and special considerations. And then when you graduate, it's give me my life jacket back, because now you have to go into the adult life using American Disability Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. And those accommodations will not even be close to what many students have through high school. When our students are in college, when they come to our college program, they all register with our student accessibility services, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Student accessibility services will look at your documentations, your IEP, anything that you bring. They'll look at that, and they will determine what your accommodations will be under ADA and Rehab 504. I had a student and his mother that went to SAS with all of their documentation and handed and said, these are the accommodations. And I warned them, but these are the accommodations, 24 different accommodations that that particular student had. Our SAS person went down through, said, nope, nope, yep, yep, nope, had 5 or 6. That is the difference. And so because our students, our young adults have to get, that's what they're going to have the rest of their life. Those are the accommodations that we follow because we want them to practice them and get so good at that because we need them to make the most and get their biggest bang for their buck out of those accommodations. Okay? Those are the accommodations. And that's, even if you don't go to college, that's the way it is in the adult world. High school with IDEA is about success. That's why so many extra accommodations and considerations. It's about being successful. Once you leave and you go into the adult world, it is only about access, not success. Hence the differences in the way the laws address. Everybody understand the difference? Success, access. Okay. In high school, all students are covered. In college, students have to qualify using prior documentation. They have to have the IEP ahead of time, and they're just using it as documentation. But it's not going to be, it has to be something that's already in place, and they just use it. High school parents, you're highly involved. College, we already kind of talked about it, didn't we? In college, you take the back seat. Your involvement is optional. However, in the CCS program, we understand the importance of having you as part of the team and helping the student prepare for adult life because you're the one that's going to be there. You're also the one paying the bill. It's no longer free. And we know the importance of that, but everything gets run through your student. We work with your student, and if it gets to the point that we say, you know what, this is something that you're really struggling with, and we really need to bring mom and dad in on this, it's always through them first. And they will be part of the meetings. We really work hard to develop a good, strong relationship, trusting relationship with them, and they understand quickly. They'll even say, no, don't tell mom, don't tell dad. And if it's something that we say, you know what, it is your call, but let's discuss what happens if you don't. So it's on them. It's on them understanding when is it time you need to reach out and ask for help if it's something bigger than what we're managing. Personal service aids provided, again, through the IEP and IDEA, not in college, not in adult life, unless you pay for them yourself. But they're no longer a guarantee. And in college, no personal services are provided. We have students that need a personal aid, but it's the student or the parent family that have to provide if they need it for any kind of physical reasons. So, success versus access, colleges are generally not going to provide the following. Colleges / adult life. Those are the things, and you can read them in your PowerPoint because an hour's not enough. Okay. So those are some of the main things that the differences there. Oh, going to college is all about food too, right? Big part of it. We work with our students to develop good habits, and so we explain to them that most college students gain the freshman 15. Actually, I think that's inflated too. I think it's now up to the freshman 30. So we really, everything that we do is working to help them develop good habits, including exercise and nutrition.